and let's go to TNA. Now, TNA, and Titus knows because I sent him a little bit of highlights here, TNA. A lot of stuff has gone on this year with TNA wrestling. Hey, my God, I mean, it's like, woo, and we don't even need to, like, pause every 5 minutes to, like, talk about. Let's just get you guys caught up to speed that don't know what's been going on with TNA or you haven't checked it out this year.
I can sum it up really quick, Mr. Lee Sanders. I can say this. Whoever you want to put their name has been released and or left their contract at TNA. That is the year of 2013 at Total Nonstop Action. So many people have been released or have asked for their release or have contracts have expired. That is TNA from day one, January the 8th, 2013, when Pope leaves, to Jeff Jarrett leaving just 1 week ago.
Titus will tell you because he said to me tonight, he said, can you send me some bullet points of what you're going to talk about? And for our TNA segment, you know, I literally did the homework for this show tonight. I'm like, okay, I know TNA, they've had a shaky year. Let me just look up, and I was at the computer for like about an hour, and I just found like all this stuff. And Titus, tell him, brother, it's like the list is so long of the releases and just crap that's going on. You're like, what?
It's January 8th, January 8th, January 9th, January 22nd, January 24th, May 24th. Then you got July 4th. Or June 4th. You have Alex Silva and Doug Williams and Todd. It just doesn't stop. It doesn't stop.
Yeah.
And that's the problem with TNA. And it makes me happy I lost the gut check challenge because my name would be on the list.
How you really feel, Titus? I mean, you know, in all seriousness, though, all the releases, right, and you put that on top of TNA Wrestling going, okay, well, you know, this whole going on live tour to different cities, it's not working out so good because we're not really making money. Well, we're going to go back to the Impact Zone in Florida. Yeah, we're going back home, but we're going to do it in a really unique way that's going to be really cool, and you guys will dig it. But then they only do it for about 6 shows because they get word that WWE is looking to have a permanent Hall of Fame venue at Universal Studios in Florida. So now TNA is kind of going, well, where's our new permanent home going to be? So now they're taking a huge back step, if you will, because now they're going to be performing in high school gymnasiums, community colleges, and it's kind of like, okay, you've been around for about 11 years now. It's one thing if this is WWE NXT or Extreme Rising, and I'm not knocking those promotions. I'm just saying, hey, you kind of got to claw your way for a little bit before you can do like WWE and just be performing at big venues every single week. But Titus, for a company to be at this for 11 years, they went from being, and I was one of those fans, I said TNA Wrestling like 10 years ago, take my money every single week because you guys are doing a 2-3 hour weekly TV show on pay-per-view. I've been with them that long, so to see them go from that to getting their deal on FSN, to getting their deal on Spike, going on the road, and then they're doing this, it's like a major, major step backwards.
Well, you know, I've worked at independent wrestling promotions that outdrew TNA and don't have a national television contract. That's the problem here. We're talking about not just 11 years. We're talking about a national television contract that is now taped at least several weeks in advance. I mean, you can see spoilers for almost every show. You go from having monthly pay-per-views to we're going to give you these for free every one Thursday a month because you can't afford to put them on pay-per-view and your buy rates are so low. This is a real issue, and, you know, it doesn't take a wrestling fan, you know, it takes a businessman to sit back and go, look, this is a problem. You clearly can't afford to go on the road, which whoever's decision that was, we can blame Hulk Hogan. I blame Dixie Carter. To be real, she's the boss. It stopped with her. If you can't afford to go on the road, somebody should have had it's a simple profit and loss report, Lee. This is how much money we need to make to do this to break even. And can we do this? And this is the worst case scenario. This is the best case scenario. Someone didn't do their homework. This is a catastrophe. And I hope somebody does end up buying TNA away from the Carters, because they've done nothing but copy WWE, and they're always 3-4 steps behind where they need to be.
I've never heard anybody bring up this subject. I might be way off, and I may ruffle some feathers with what I'm about to say, but could it really just be downright about incompetence, and or could this be maybe a factor of somebody is pocketing the money? By that, somebody is altering the books.
Well, if that's the case, that's a lot harder thing to do. I think it comes down to a non-wrestling entity running a wrestling company. Let's rewind back, and we have the Turner Sports running a wrestling entity that they didn't know how to run either, and what happened there. You need wrestling people running wrestling shows. Vince McMahon tried to run a football league. Shouldn't have. He wasn't a football guy. And then what happened? The XFL went out of business. You need to have somebody who loves this business, that bleeds this business. I remember it was a show about the Monday Night Wars, Hulk Hogan saying during the Monday Night Wars that Vince McMahon will die before he gives up. Something to that effect. And that's the thing, is that this is personal to him. It's his industry. It's what he does. He was a third-generation promoter. That's my issue, is that you've got Dixie Carter, who's running a wrestling show because it's fun. Is it something to do? Is it something to highlight her career? I don't know what it is. But when the founder leaves, whether it's, some people are saying it's an angle, some people are saying that he'll debut back, and I don't know that to be true. And I've known people who've worked in the TNA offices, and they're just as stunned about this as anybody. It's a big deal when Jeff Jarrett leaves the company he founded.
Talk about that a little bit. Yeah, well, I mean, from your contacts and all that, I mean, how is it for folks in TNA that's hearing this news of Jeff Jarrett? Because, a lot of folks, and I think they're not really that well informed. When a lot of folks hear that Jeff Jarrett has left TNA, they go, oh, well, so what? What's the big deal? And it's kind of like, that's a big deal.
It is a big deal. And if you just say, well, Jeff is leaving, it's either not a big deal or it's an angle, yeah, on its own, it's not a big deal. But when you look up the list you have, and gosh, if people could see this list, it's crazy with the number of people who have left the company, the amount of money being spent on people like Rampage Jackson, the amount of the television with non-live events and pay-per-views going away. And then you add in things like, I know a lot of people lost their job that aren't on this list. Guys in the offices, guys in the tourism section, who booked all the hotel and the flights and all that stuff, lost their jobs. I know this for a fact. So it's not just Jesse Sorensen being released. It is a lot of office people. A lot of shakeups have taken place. D'Lo Brown let go. It's not one thing. It is 1,000 things and a bunch of big things to add up to it. Hulk Hogan is about one thing. He's about money. There is none. He's left. That says it right there. If there is money to be made, Hulk Hogan would be there. He needs it as much as anybody.
How's the future looking for, I can't believe I'm asking this question, but 2014, how is TNA Wrestling looking? Is this a promotion, honestly, all joking aside, is this a promotion that we're going to be talking about in 2015, hell, in 2020, in 2030?
It depends. I'm going to lay it out there, and people can get mad. If the Carter family owns it, it's on its way out the door. Spike TV is not going to continue to throw money at something that's, garnering a 1 market share on television. It's not enough. And it dips down. Infomercials get more viewers sometimes than TNA Wrestling. If it's sold off to somebody with a passion, then maybe it can have a second chance. What was a big rumor that what's his name from the Smashing Pumpkins was going to buy it? God, I hope not. He's doing a great job with the indie wrestling company up in Chicago. We need a wrestling guy to save TNA. And let me get this. I want TNA to be successful. As an independent wrestling manager, and the guys that I've seen across this country who belong in wrestling, when there's only one company to do it at, and they've got their own developmental, you don't make it as easy as you do if there's a TNA out there. If Ring of Honor does, bigger. I want these companies to be big and profitable, because then there's more jobs for guys like me and the guys on the independent wrestling scene. So I'm all for TNA making money. Before anybody is out there calling me a TNA basher, I'm not. I want them to, I try to get a job with them. So I want them to survive. I don't know if they are, Lee. I don't know if they are. If they're continuing where they're at now, not a chance.
I dare say the future looks really, really grim for them right now, and I'm with you. Look, you guys know I'm a huge TNA fan. Hell, we've had actual TNA wrestlers come on our show at some point. We're actually trying to work on having more TNA stars come by the show. I love the promotion. If I had any type of a problem with the promotion, I wouldn't talk TNA wrestling with you guys every single week, cover their pay-per-views. I'm with Titus. I definitely want for the promotion to succeed as well, but when you have all of these factors and you look at the list that I put together, and Titus, it's long as hell. When you look at it, reeks of nothing but negative energy when you're looking at this list. Okay, that's how hardcore it is. This is like a long cup of coffee, like a long walk with a cup of coffee. That's how long the list is. You can't help but say, man. And when you key in on certain names on this list, and you're like, damn, so TNA, they couldn't even work with this person? They couldn't work it out with this cat? What the hell is going on over there? You got all these great minds that's coming through there for a hot minute, and they're rolling out. You can't help but wonder just where exactly is this company going to be going in the next couple of years. Will it be able to survive? And I dare say, I think TNA Wrestling, I don't care what Dixie Carter says with this whole, what's the word that she's throwing around? Profit, we're profit positive or some bull crap like
right.
that. You can feed me that crap all you want. We know the real deal. You guys are struggling. And as if Smashing Pumpkins, Billy Corgan, possibly being the guy to try to own TNA Wrestling was bad enough. Now we're hearing through unconfirmed sources that country singer Toby Keith is the one that was interested in buying the TNA promotion, and that basically this is part of the reason why Jeff Jarrett left, was because he's good friends with Toby Keith, and basically he was coming around just in case a deal was going to go through. Until you guys can name me sources, until I hear from Toby Keith himself on Twitter, yeah, I was interested in buying TNA Wrestling, things didn't work out. Everything is just rumors. Let's deal with the facts. They've had a lot of people come and go. People want to say, Titus, that this Jeff Jarrett thing is part of a story angle. He's going to be back with AJ Styles in the spring. Everybody's just latching on to this. Let me tell you something. This is some real reality right here. If you're a real TNA wrestling fan, then you're going to remember the last time that Jeff Jarrett really had anything to do in front of the camera with the TNA promotion. He did a match with Jeff Hardy, and the stipulation was if Jeff Hardy lost, he was going to be fired. And as a result of that, him, Karen Jarrett, they went on down and did some stuff with AAA some more. Rinka King, as good as that was, that had pretty much got wrapped up. It didn't get picked up. And Jeff Jarrett, he's pretty much been doing his thing on the independent circuit, enjoying the good life. I'm saying this for a reason. If this was a work, then explain to me, how do you explain Jeff Jarrett being fired from TNA Wrestling only to be back in the company? You know, you have to be consistent with a story arc.
And here's something that really makes me think that, you know, this is not a storyline. At this point, they should be, and it looks like they're circling the wagons. They're trying to save money where possible. They're trying to come up with, you know, ways of gaining interest. You don't have your most notable names for your history, like AJ Styles and Jeff Jarrett, leave in a negative way. Because if I'm a fan and I'm on the fence of giving up on TNA, and I've been a fan since if I was a fan who bought the once a week pay-per-view television shows, and I'm on the fence, and AJ Styles leaves because he's not getting paid enough, and the founder leaves because he's well, then I'm going to leave too. So that doesn't, to me, create a great storyline because they'll come back. Right now, you don't need guys leaving in that negative way. You need them staying and saying, no, you fans want to stay because something big is on the way. It's not a work. And if I'm wrong, I'll come on the show, call me. I'll come on the show and I'll say I'm wrong. I just don't buy it because now's not the time when ratings are at terrible levels. Public opinion is that you're going out of business. You need to be doing something other than having your two biggest names in the history of your company taken off. And I look at this one date on this list is something that if I were AJ Styles, on 6/2, Kurt Angle's announced as the second Hall of Fame nominee. That's a WWE guy going into the TNA Hall of Fame, where Jeff Jarrett should have been the guy going in the Hall of Fame. AJ Styles should have been the guy going in the Hall of Fame. That's a date that really sticks out in my mind. If I'm a TNA lifer, why the hell is the WWE guy going on to the Hall of Fame? Oh, I know Kurt Angle hasn't done a whole lot for TNA. He hasn't drawn the numbers that they said he was going to draw. He's only been there, 5 years or so. He's got several personal issues going on. I think a lot of things wrong with TNA right now, and I don't buy a work that Jeff Jarrett's going to come back and save the day with AJ Styles. I just don't see it. They need management.
They need it big time, and they need it in a big way. I'm really hoping that with all these budget cuts that they're doing, my advice to TNA Wrestling, you guys are on the right path, and if I could just suggest a couple of other things. Coach Titus had some classic matches over the years. I dare say, full of WWE playbook, pull one of their pages. Make some of those matches be available on DVD. They've got a great entire library. I don't know if maybe they're dealing with a couple of pieces of red tape from FSN, but if there's a way that they can, kind of loosen up so they can get a hold of these, I think they would make a killing with it. If they made it be available on their YouTube channel and all that, because we know nowadays YouTube, they got this whole paid account thing going on where you can basically pay for premium content. But I think that's something that TNA could definitely tap into. It's not a good sign when you see almost every single week TNA Wrestling is offering like 50% off new merchandise on their website. Seriously. I want nothing but the best for them, and here's hoping that the best is coming, because right now it's looking really bad for them.